Oh, there we go. There we go.
Uh,
How are you? Okay?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit of a madhouse in the background, so if you hear any shouting,
Yeah.
might be on mute.
Okay. No worries if it gets noisy.
Yeah,
How are
yeah.
you doing with the course?
Yeah, feel a bit better than I did. Didn't manage to join the Q&A last week, but a week, week before that, I was a bit like, oh my God, I'm in the valley of despair. Like, just yeah, when you know how much you start to realize how much you don't know,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, but I feel like I'm moving a bit past that now, and it's like, some things might be sinking in,
Good.
but maybe with a low level of awareness. But yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, great. I mean, I feel like that's any skill you ever want to learn. I think in the beginning you have this optimism and then you realize how much stuff there is to learn, and then gradually you learn those things and you get to
Yeah,
actually having the skills. So good.
yeah.
You have any questions for me?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's more of a question or a statement, but I did notice as been going through that I find it a lot harder to pass down a bullet from longer source material.
Okay.
Like the shorter ones, I sort of feel like, oh yeah, it's a bit easier. I can juggle the pieces in my mind a little bit, and maybe like the mechanics and stuff. But then the longer stuff takes me longer to think, right, what bit might be the hookiest bit.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe that is about knowing the audience and doing a few iterations and a few more iterations and spending more time on it maybe. But it just feels a little bit like, oh my gosh, where do I start when there's quite a big chunk?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in the sense that if there is more stuff, then you have many more options, and that if you want to like figure out which ones of those might be the best, then it takes more thinking. So that's an unavoidable part, and I think there's nothing wrong there. I think one thing is that kind of the more you've done this, the more likely it is that you're going to spot something immediately which jumps out at you. Because I feel like in the beginning, maybe you don't immediately see things which might be the most relevant. So you're saying, okay, well, here's a little fact about some statistics, here's a promise, here's a little bit of proof, here's some unusual and weird thing. And it's not very clear. Those things aren't very much in any kind of relief one to another. It's not clear which one might be better to start off with. And so just the practice of doing this, and in general, the practice of writing sales copy and looking at other people's sales copy, you get a sense for, okay, like this sounds like an intriguing and new thing that is kind of like something which has worked very well before, but at the same time is also different enough and new enough that I could imagine it would be very sexy. And this isn't like there's no way to know for sure, but I feel like that's part of the intuition that you develop as a copywriter. So I feel like with time, it definitely gets easier. But you're right that, if you get if you just take it to an extreme, and if you get a 500-page book and you're supposed to write 20 bullets from that, well, it's going to require reading that 500-page book very carefully. So that's not to say that to overwhelm you, but just that it's a fact of the business.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to just knuckle down and keep practicing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's helpful to know that even people who are at the very top of this game have the same. So Gene Schwartz, who was one of these very high-level copywriters, I think we've looked at a few of his bullets, and we'll definitely look at a few more. He was famous for writing sales letters that were all about bullets, and he had this talk that he gave about his process for writing a sales letter. And I think the first, I don't know, maybe he would dedicate 8 to 10 weeks to write a 3 to 4 to 5, 6-page sales letter. And out of that, I don't remember exactly, but a good chunk of time, maybe half of that time, would go to reading the book extremely carefully, taking notes, and just highlighting stuff that he would kind of boil down the book from, let's say, 300 pages to maybe 40, 50 pages of really exciting notes. And even that is still a lot. And then he would start
Yeah.
through that repeatedly and highlighting stuff and kind of combining stuff and say, oh, okay, this sounds exciting. Now on second reading, this really comes through, and keep doing that and kind of condensing and condensing until in the end, you come up with maybe, out of that 300 pages, you narrow it down to 50 pages worth of notes, and maybe you narrow that down to 10 pages worth of bullets, which you're then going to collect the best 3 to 4 pages of bullets out of, and that's going to be your final result. So in part, it's just the process that everybody goes through, even the best guys.
Yeah, the distillation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the more material you have, the bigger that distillation process is.
Yeah, which makes sense, doesn't it, really? So I'm normal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. I think that was my most burning question, to be honest. That burst about the whole thing. I don't know if I had anything else. It's pretty hard to think when the kids are having a meltdown in the background. I'm like, oh my God, shut up.
half an ear out of here for disasters in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, if you think of any more questions, let me know. I got a question by email from Sean, and I will answer that question now, unless you have something else for me. It's not a question about bullets, it's a question about marketing, but since nobody else asked me any questions by email, I will answer Sean's question in detail. And again, if at any point you have comments, or if you have follow-up questions, or if you think of anything else, let me know. And since you're on the call here, I want to give you precedence or whatever else. So just jump in and ask away. But in the meantime, while you're thinking, I will answer Sean's question. And Sean said, any advice on selling an evergreen subscription or membership program, specifically martial arts, Tai Chi, meditation, etc.? I have nothing specific for martial arts, Tai Chi, meditation. I feel like it can apply to anything, but just when I saw Sean's question, I wrote down 10 ideas, and I will share them with you, Angie, and with anybody else who might be watching this. So first of all, Sean says he's selling, or I guess he's thinking of selling, an evergreen subscription membership program. I don't know fully exactly what that means, evergreen, but I imagine it means that it's kind of always the same from month to month. So my first suggestion is don't make it evergreen. So make it so that there is some content every month that's new, and they won't get it unless they sign up in time, and that gives them an incentive to sign up then and there. If you want an example of that, you have Ben Settle's Email Players newsletter, which is a continuity offer, and yet each month's content is new, and unless you sign up at that point, you don't get the back issues. So it is a subscription offer, but every month there is something new. And in Ben's case, the entire content for that month is new. It doesn't have to be the same. So it could be that you have some part of it which is, let's say, evergreen. Maybe you could have like a forum or some set of videos which is same from month to month, but every month there is something new, and make it so that maybe they have to sign up that month to get it, because if they sign up next month, they won't be getting what last month's special offer was. Second thing, which is very standard for everybody, is a very desirable bonus. So all of the bullets we're looking at, or most of the bullets, come from Boardroom, and basically they were selling subscriptions to newsletters by selling a very attractive book, or giving away a very attractive book, or very attractive sets of reports on the front end. More recently, you have somebody like Justin Goff, who launched a print newsletter, and he had a course, I think, about how to launch offers or how to create offers or something like that. And his course was priced at, I don't know, $2,000 or $5,000, and he was giving it away for free to people who signed up for his newsletter. So basically, don't sell a newsletter or don't sell an evergreen subscription offer. Give away an extremely attractive offer as a bonus for people signing up to your membership program. Third thing is that metamorphize it, or I don't know if that's the right word, but basically do a little bit of magic and turn it from a continuity offer, or just the product that you get every month, into a club or a place where people belong. This doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be called a club, but make it clear there's people who are on the inside of a group, who are inside the inner ring, versus those who are on the outside. If you look at somebody like Dan Kennedy, who is a master of selling subscription and membership stuff, this is a huge part of what he's selling. He's not selling necessarily information. He's selling the fact that you're in Dan Kennedy's inner circle. You're one of the smart guys. You're one of the people who gets it, as opposed to all the clueless masses outside. So turn it into a club, even if it's just in attitude rather than the actual offer. Number 4 on my list is build up your own status or build up your own relationship with your list so that you can give people more access to you within your membership offer. This could be a part of the membership offer, and that so people value that. So if you have a lot of status and if people get more access to you so they can ask you questions, so they can talk to you, so they can joke around with you, then they will pay for that. So Daniel Throssell, he has this community thing where basically like you get to like interact with Daniel Throssell, and you're kind of in a special group with him, and there's not even any clear promise to the membership thing, just that you're there with Daniel, and Daniel does that because, or Daniel can do that because he's built up his status within the industry, because people know him, because he's respected, because he has fame and notoriety, and at the same time because he's very good at writing relationship emails so that people feel like they have a relationship with him already, but they still want to take that a little bit further, and for that they can participate in this membership group. Of course, you don't have to go all to an extreme the way Daniel did with that community. You can just make that a part of a bigger membership program where if people value you as a guru, they get extra access to being, they get extra access to you by being in the membership group. Number 5 that I have is constantly share testimonials of people who are on the inside, and also recognize and praise members who are on the inside to your bigger list. So if somebody gets a little bit of success who is inside of your membership program, make a big deal out of that to everybody who's on the outside. And if somebody writes you a comment or asks you a question who is inside of that, then mention them and mention the fact that they are subscribers to your membership program. So basically give people recognition for being inside. And this kind of goes back to that thing about changing it from being something that they get every month, some new information, into being a club where they belong. Likewise, or not likewise, but similarly to sharing testimonials and recognizing people who are on the inside, and this might sound controversial, but you also want to shame or disqualify people who don't sign up or who leave. And if you want a perfect example of somebody doing this, look at Ben Settle. So he's constantly shaming people who aren't willing to sign up, who have excuses to not sign up to his continuity program. And at the same time, if somebody does leave, then he makes a big deal out of how they left because they're small thinkers and so on. So again, you don't have to necessarily be as extreme about it as Ben is, but you can have cautionary tales where, you know, somebody didn't want to sign up and then something bad happened to them, or they made a mistake, or 2 years later they came and they did sign up and they said, oh man, I made all these mistakes in the meantime, I wish I'd signed up earlier. And at the same time, you could have similar messages about somebody who leaves and then who, you know, 6 months later decides to get out of the marketing game entirely because they couldn't hack it, right? And you could say, well, you know, you don't have to be as extreme about it as Ben is, but you could say, you know, people who are inside of my membership thing are doing well, very well. They aren't facing the problems that all these people who are on the outside. Angie, you had something to say, or?
No, just coughed.
Okay. In that case, I will press on. I have 3 or 4 more. Number 7 is you can gift a month or 2 of membership for people who buy another product. So I think this is pretty standard in a lot of like internet marketing stuff that I've seen. I think this especially was, I forget who was doing this, maybe Caleb Adowd or somebody like that, where, you know, they would have let's say some sort of continuity program, which was, let's say $100 a month. And then if you buy a $2,000 training, they would give you 1 or 2 or 3 months of this ongoing coaching or group coaching for free. You had already given people your credit card, and you were told that after 3 months, if you didn't cancel, it would kick in and you would have to pay. But basically kind of like, this is kind of the opposite of that thing where you're giving away the big product if people buy your membership. In this case, you're giving away your membership if people buy the big product. And this, I think, is a very standard technique in a lot of, especially in marketing, but I feel like it could work in just about anything. So Sean, if you're watching this and if you're selling like a course on martial arts, which is, I don't know, your big course, and somebody buys that, then you could say, okay, well, we have a, you know, continuity program where we share new videos and you get 3 months of that for free, and new techniques, or you get to ask me questions or whatever, you get 3 months of that for free. And after that, it's going to be whatever, $17 a month or $97 a month. Number 8 is something that I just spotted in the wild. So let me tell you a story. About a month ago, I wanted to buy new sunglasses. I went into the sunglass store and I picked out my sunglasses very quickly. And the sunglass store woman came to me and she said, "Oh, do you want to buy these sunglasses?" I said, "Yes." And I was getting ready to take them to the counter. And she said, "Oh, we have a special offer. If you buy these sunglasses, plus if you buy this cleaning kit," and she held up this little bottle and some like microfiber rags. Then, so you buy the cleaning kit, you get 30% off the sunglasses. Now, I'm a patsy when it comes to any kind of like sales offers. So my instinct is always to be like, no, I'm not buying, I'm not taking you up on your offer, because you don't understand how susceptible I am to any kind of like sales manipulation. And at the same time, you don't understand what my business is. Like, this is what I do professionally. You're not going to trick me. So that was my initial reaction. But then for a moment, I said, okay, how much is the cleaning kit? And the cleaning kit was, let's say, $10. And the glasses were $120, right? And so if you get 30% off the sunglasses, and then the cleaning kit is $10, that means that by buying this extra thing, you're actually saving $30. So even in my mind, I realized that it was a good deal, right? And just afterwards, I was wondering, like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are they making this offer? And I have some theories, and maybe I'll write an email about it. But for now, all I want to just share is the idea that maybe what you can do is do exactly what that store did, where you can give people a ridiculous discount on a bigger offer if they take a trial of the membership offer. So again, if you're selling a course which is $500 and your membership offer is $37, then you can say, sign up for the membership offer and you get $100 off the $500 course. So anybody should really take you up on that, right? And I think for me, I think the reason why this works is basically it's a, you know, you're selling something which is huge margins and you just want people to take you up on it. And this actually makes it easier for them to make that purchase of the bigger offer. And at the same time, it gives you the benefit of getting them into the membership offer. And compared to that number 7, which I was talking about, which is when you give it away for free, here people feel like they're already buying it rather than like, oh, I have to remember to cancel it. So maybe they're going to be more invested in this thing long term. So it's something that might be worth testing out. Number 9 is repackage membership content and sell it individually at a much higher standalone price. So I did a email marketing consult for a company in Australia where they offer a streaming service, and every month they have new content, new streaming content. And what I told them is one thing that they could consider doing, this has nothing to do with email marketing, this was just my general marketing advice. I told them that rather than that, they could package up some of the streaming content that they have, and their streaming service costs something like $20 a month. They could package up one of the series that people get inside of that month, and they could sell it individually at, say, $100 a month. And on the one hand, that means that maybe they could get sales, which they wouldn't get otherwise, because some people just never want to buy any kind of continuity offer. But at the same time, it makes the continuity offer that much more attractive, because once people realize that, oh crap, this was some content that I could have gotten inside of the continuity offer for just $20, and now it's being sold for $100. Therefore, I should sign up so I don't miss out in the future, because this stuff is obviously more valuable than I realize it to be. And again, Ben Settle is a good example of this, because he will often have a newsletter issue, which he will then convert into a book. Maybe he will just take a single newsletter, or maybe he'll combine 2 or 3 newsletters, fluff it out a little bit with some extra examples or a little bit of extra writing. And he'll turn 2 $97 newsletters into a $700 book. And sometimes, I'm sure he sells a lot of that book to a lot of people, but at the same time, it also makes the entire newsletter seem that much more attractive because people realize, oh crap, if I sign up now, then maybe I'm basically going to pay $97 for something that then is going to be selling for $1,000 in 6 months. So that's another thing to do. And then number 10, and my final thing, is to offer additional perks to people who are members that you don't offer to anybody else. So in a way, this kind of goes back to number 2, which was offer a desirable bonus. The bonus is usually just at the beginning, right? So if somebody signs up, then they get a free course, which is very attractive. But what you can also do is offer lots of perks, some of which you might not even announce at the beginning to people who are members. So for example, what you can do is offer discounts, right? I had a little continuity program this summer where I had a postcard that I was selling people. And for the people who were inside of that membership, I gave discounts to like, I guess my copy riddles program, this right here, right? I said, because you're in this, I'm going to give you the old price rather than the new price. And you can offer people an opportunity to ascend. So maybe it could be a condition for getting into some sort of higher level membership that they have to be in the lower level membership. Or you could give them new bonuses and new giveaways, or you could have contests or kind of prizes that you only give away to people, or you could give people free stuff that you charge everybody else for. So just, it's something that you can do, and this is something you should advertise across your entire space so people know that, you know, you give special treatment to people who are inside of your community. And that's it. Those are my 10 ideas. I don't know if this will be useful to anybody, but I figured it would be useful to me as well. So I wrote them down, and Sean, I hope you like that. Angie, any final comments or thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about, because I know I've mentioned that I'm building my own offer and list, and I started it, but then I thought, oh, my offer was a bit weak, so I'm reframing it.
Okay.
But I don't have the social proof in the niche. So I was just thinking about how I might use other forms of social proof, if any, or how I might get some social proof. I'm not sure. Just to strengthen.
Okay, so tell me a bit about what your offer is, or who you're writing for.
So I am building, hopefully, a list for copywriting for authors.
Okay.
And I did just have like a market awareness kind of offer, but nobody was really taking any bait. But now I've reframed it into a sort of 7-day email, like mini course. We're just trying to polish that off. But my social proof really and my testimonials come from my copywriting clients, and I don't know if I.
But what would be the basic promise that you have for your offer? So what is it that you're promising people who would take you up on it?
Just to make their book marketing a bit easier and less reliable, less hassle, because I see a lot of people throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Okay.
And yeah, instead of like laser targeted, you know, and getting better at email marketing and.
But are you teaching people how to like write, for example, copy for their book listing description on Amazon, or are you teaching people how to like write emails to stay in touch with their list of readers, or how exactly what does it mean to make people's marketing easier?
Yeah, so I was thinking I might be being a bit too broad. It's basically starting with the fundamentals and then looking at WIFM and looking at like Gene Schwartz market awareness levels, and then writing better headlines, writing subject lines, and So that's the sort of 7-day course aspect that would and like CTAs.
And sorry, this is for fiction authors or for?
A bit of both. Yeah.
I mean, I would say, first of all, do you have a list? Like, do you have people who you would be selling this to?
I've got one person.
You have one person. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, maybe you need to do something to build that list beyond one person. If that just means reaching out on your, because I would say, to me, when you say this, I would say rather than coming up with an offer, build a bit of a list without doing it, minimal amount of work to build out a list, which means, I don't know if you're on Facebook or any other social media, if you have personal contacts that you can reach out to, but basically say, look, I'm an author, I have copywriting experience, I'm looking to help out other authors. I'm going to have like basically this incredible program for you, which I will deliver for you for free or for $5.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about it, get onto my email list and get 20, 30, 50, 100 people, however many you can do just by spending an afternoon emailing people or writing Facebook posts, and get those people onto your email list, right?
Okay.
That's step one. And then step two is, rather than like speculating on like how to condense all of direct response marketing into a 7-day course for authors, reach out to your list, right? And say like, what exactly are you having trouble with? What's your number one problem? What did you do for your last book, and where did the marketing fail for that? Get into a little bit of a conversation. And again, don't have like a course about learning marketing. I would say have a specific offer for, like I'm telling you now, like how to get your first 100 email subscribers, how to sell your first 10 copies, how to write your Amazon description, whatever it is that people tell you like that they have, do that, and then focus on
more specific.
And also, when you do that, when you reach out to people, you can offer to work with them one-on-one, even for free. And those are going to be your testimonials. And then you can say, look, I have a course on how to, write your autoresponder sequence as a fiction author. And here's the incredible testimonials that I've gotten. And that's it, right? Because these are people that you've reached out to by hand rather than trying to somehow convert in a much more indirect way. So that's my advice.
Yeah, that makes sense. I find it from this side of it, from a kind of client side of it, building your own list is just, it's really useful for working with clients as well.
Yeah.
I just think it makes you think a lot differently. And
I mean, I think it's valuable both in terms of your skills, but it's also incredibly useful, I think, in terms of your positioning, right? Because I feel like if any client ever says to you, if you build out your own list, if you build out your own offer, and then a client comes to you and says, well, okay, why should we work with you? And you say, you don't have to work with me at all, because I have my own business. And if you'd like to take a look at that and see if it's kind of in line with what you need, here's my website, and here's, how I'm getting traffic, and here are the results I've gotten for my customers. And, that's something that I could potentially do for you as well, but that's a decision for you to make, right? So that's something you can say, which is very powerful to have that positioning. And the other thing is that you'll be surprised how often people who maybe wind up on your list could be potential clients, and who are going to look at you with starstruck eyes because they're reading your emails, right? Which is a strange thing that, in today's world, anybody can send out emails, but it still puts you on this podium where people think of you as a special authority or somebody with extra status. So work from both ends.
Okay. Right. Okay. That's my plan of action then.
Okay. I mean, that was my suggestion. I mean,
it's interesting. I think like a lot of marketing is about ideas. I feel like a lot of people buy ideas rather than I don't know, maybe the thinking's the hard bit.
Absolutely.
With the ideas is, okay.
I mean, I feel like if for example, if you just know the exact problem people are having, then even your testimonials become maybe secondary. I mean, if you really, really know
Yeah.
what problems people are having. So not just, for example, saying like, oh, do you not know how to launch your book on Kindle? But you can somehow speak to a much more specific target audience, which is like, oh, did you get stuck with the, are you a self-published author who spent 60 hours trying to like launch their book on Kindle, and you got frustrated, and then you spent $200 on Upwork trying to get somebody to do it for you, and then you just wasted that money. And in the meantime, your husband or wife got angry with you for like spending all of this time. I mean, I'm just saying, if there is a small niche of people who have exactly that experience, and if you can describe that experience exactly, then the fact that maybe you haven't done this with anybody else before, just the fact that you can describe their symptoms so precisely, sell them a long way, and I feel like that's something that's kind of an idea, or it's a way of phrasing your offer, which is going to sell it much better than you could sell them basically the same thing. But if you're just saying like, oh, let me help you make your marketing a little bit easier, they're going to say, great, but that's not my problem.
Yeah. To get more specific. Okay, right. I'm going to do some more thinking tonight.
All right. Yeah. Think about it. And if you like, get back on the call. If there's nobody else, we can talk about, how to, I'm here basically for an hour, so you can use
Yeah, I think my husband might have pulled his hair out while he broke that day. Yeah. No, I'm all good. I'm all done now, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Angie. And,
yeah, it's good to chat to you.
Okay. And yeah, I guess maybe see you next week if you get the time.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. All right, cool.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.